Have you ever stopped to wonder how a brilliant idea, like the one that led to the smartphone in your hand, actually becomes a real thing? It's definitely not just a single eureka moment. In fact, a really groundbreaking new study in the journal Research Policy is pulling back the curtain on the hidden web that connects all great inventions. So let's dive right in. You know that classic image, the lone genius having a breakthrough moment in a lab? Yeah, turns out that's pretty much a myth. Innovation is way more like a massive, tangled web of ideas, with everything building on everything else in ways we're only just now starting to really understand. For decades, researchers have been trying to map this innovation web, but this new study, well, it uses some seriously powerful tools to light up all the invisible connections. It shows us not just that ideas are linked, but how they're linked in a way we've never seen before. Okay, so what's actually pulling the strings in this giant web? The study points to two key forces. You can think of them like these invisible currents that are constantly shaping the flow of technology. So on one side, you've got neighbor innovativeness, basically what's happening in your immediate vicinity. And on the other, you have network structure, which is all about your specific spot in the grand scheme of things. Let's break down what that really means. First up is neighbor innovativeness. This is what researchers call knowledge spillover. Just imagine a world-class chef moves in next door to you. All of a sudden, you're smelling new spices, you're seeing new techniques. You just can't help but get inspired and up your own cooking game, right? That, in a nutshell, is knowledge spillover. Then there's network structure, and this is all about the big picture. It's not just about who's next door, but how you're plugged into the entire innovation grid. Being right in the center, connected to all sorts of different people and ideas, gives you a front row seat to the most diverse and groundbreaking stuff happening everywhere. So you might be wondering, how on earth do you measure something as abstract as neighborliness or network position? Well, this is where the study gets really, really clever. They took a massive amount of data and used a powerful new technique to actually see it all. And when I say massive, I really mean it. They analyzed the text of 6.5 million patents spanning 45 years. That is just a colossal treasure trove of human ingenuity. Now here's the real game changer. Traditionally, if you wanted to do this, you just follow the citations and patents, see who's referencing whom. But that only gives you part of the picture. This study used advanced text mining to analyze the actual words in the patents, creating a much more precise map of how ideas are truly connected. And you can see the difference right here, clear as day. On the left, that's the old citation map. It's pretty sparse, right? But look at the right. The text similarity map reveals this incredibly rich, dense, and detailed web of connections between all these different fields of technology. It's just, wow. But this is where it gets really fascinating. The study didn't just map the web. It uncovered something completely unexpected about how these two forces, that neighborly influence and your network position, actually work over time. This quote from the paper just nails the core discovery. So what does that really mean? It's basically saying that these two forces work on completely different clocks. One is a sprint and the other is a marathon. Let's actually look at the data. This chart here shows what happens when a field of technology gets a sudden boost or a shock. The red line shows the boost from its neighbors, and the blue line shows the boost from its position in the network. So, that red line, a boost from your neighbors, gives you this quick, intense burst of innovation. The effect hits in under 5 years, which is fantastic for short-term wins. But then look what happens. It just kind of fades out. But a change in your network position, that blue line, is a whole different story. It's a slow burn. It takes longer to kick in, often more than 5 years. But once it does, the impact is way more powerful, and it lasts for a decade or even longer. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? Why does understanding the timing of these two forces matter so much? Well, it pretty much changes how we think about innovation entirely. It gives us a brand new lens to look at really big questions, like why progress in some fields seems to be slowing down. For a company, it could mean investing in both local meetups for those quick wins and long-term industry partnerships for that lasting impact. It really shows that the way we connect ideas is what will fundamentally shape our future. And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? If we now know that innovation is a network and we can see the forces that shape it, the challenge isn't just to invent the next big thing. The real challenge is to consciously design a better, smarter network to make all those future breakthroughs possible.